This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne Stevenson, and I'm here with Newsload, and I am so very beyond excited to be able to interview Paul Haywood. Hi, Paul. How are you?
I'm very good. Hello, Carrie. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm amazing. Spring is here.
Yes. Woohoo. I hope.
I'm sure you know, as a Canadian, a touring comic, that we are not fans of the snow.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. And we're always surprised too. But where'd this come from?
Yeah. It's like November happened. It's like, whoa, it's snowing outside. How'd that happen? Oh, yeah, it's November.
Yeah. Just like last year. There's a pattern here. Yeah.
And sometimes it's like October. It's like, oh, it's snowing. Who knew?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and certainly a little more dangerous when you're driving to gig to gig, especially for, all over Hell's Half Acre, right?
For sure. I'm always surprised when it's like blustery out and horrible, when it's a sold out show and people like show up. I'm like, wow, you guys are troopers. You're like fans.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
And so much even easier for a comic at that point. They're so ready to go. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hopefully they've had a couple pops. Hopefully they're loose and ready to go.
Yeah. Not too many pops, but malleable. Well,
Oh my gosh. Last week there was two bimbos in the audience, and they thought that they were part of the show. Like every joke. Like one time there was a joke happening and one of the girls was like, wait, what? And it's just like, you know what, sweetie? It's not about you. Stop it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They just lost the nuance completely and answering all your rhetorical questions, and you can't launch into a bit. This is the problem with talking to the crowd too much, right? You lose that barrier of when to go and start, and they'll always think you're still talking to them. And it's a bit of a nightmare. So you have to go poke. Back in the day, second shot from me to hush them, a bouncer would be there. Back in the day with a flashlight, it's like, hey, and there was no trouble. But makes you a better performer to deal with it too, right?
It really does. My favorite is Rob Pugh. A couple months ago, there was this one guy in the front who thought that he was part of the audience, and he had, a bucket of beers. Like he was involved. And
oh yeah,
the house was packed. So the bartender was slammed. So he felt a need to go back to the bar and go like, you need me to get back there and help you kind of thing. And it's just like, dude, don't be a jerk. Like you're being a jerk to the comics, you're being a jerk to the staff. So he was back there and seeing that he was being mouthy to the bartender, and he literally went on and was like, you sir, and like pointed his finger as if he was like disciplining him in a kindergarten. You are going to be quiet this whole time. And he was like, what? I didn't do anything. And it's like, you've been talking the whole show, you sir, and like pointed him out, and the whole crowd was just like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's so many fun ways to deal with it. I had one last week on Saturday night. I was hosting, so I had to big intermission. I had to start them up again after 12 minutes. And there's one person from anyway, just wouldn't stop, And I finally, you break into the, well, it's a democracy, right? Hey, just to be fair, who here, make some noise if you'd like this guy to shut the hell up. Yeah. And they go mental, right? And then I'm like, you're hearing this, right? And I ask him, what was the line? I was like, what do you sit at home and go, not enough people know I'm a freak. I gotta go out. But sometimes they're too hammered to even get that. So that's weird. It's a lot of times you just eat that microphone. So there's nothing louder than you at that point, and just pave over them, hope they get it. But otherwise you make that call. It's like, am I going to stop this momentum and burn up jokes on this guy? Or, it's always that one little elephant in the room that just kind of, you got to squish that out.
Yeah.
Same token too, for comics, like you could have like a full house destroy, right? 1,000 people, one person just off to the center right here, just kind of one out of the, and that's all you think about, not the rest of them, but strange. But
I
yeah,
know.
anyway,
It's just like all the compliments you receive. Oh, you're so funny. You're so fabulous. Great job. Great job. Yeah, I didn't like the show, though. You're not funny. And this one guy that called me out at a summer festival, he rushed the stage, which, made me uncomfortable in the first place. And the security was not used to this, whatever,
wow.
whatever.
Yeah.
So he runs up and gives me a hug, and my response is, "Aw, you smell like cigarettes and sadness," because he did. He
Yeah.
obviously just had a cigarette, and he was so embarrassed. He found me on Instagram and was like, "You're not funny. How dare you?" And I think it was just because I embarrassed him in front of like a festival of people, and I get it. But the effort
Yeah.
to find me on
Yeah.
Instagram and everything, to message me, I was quite
That's
impressed.
also, that's scary too. Yeah. Just ooh, yeah. But yeah, you can't let these people take your set from you. You gotta,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's as simple as you're talking to them and say something and you go like, and back to the prepared material. Like just to see if they get it at all. Like it's just, I don't know, man. But yeah, it's like I say, sometimes you paint the Picasso, sometimes you paint the barn, and both have to get done. So it's just, all right, here we go. But yeah,
So I've been creeping you a little bit. Is it true you're the man in the white coat in Robocop?
correct, correct. Yeah, man in a white coat, number one. Yeah, number one. Yeah,
That's
that was a fun.
amazing. What was that
That
like
was
on
fun.
Robocop? That's great. The
Uh,
2014 version, obviously.
yeah, yeah, that was right out of my mind, completely out of my noodle. There were two other men in coats 2 and 3 were proper the festival, the acting, they're Stratford actors, Stratford types. And they were wondering who was going to have the lines, and I'm sitting there kind of going, yeah, I think I got the lines. And they're like, oh my goodness, sorry, what? But yeah, yeah, no, it was a lengthy audition thing, 4 lines, but it's like 4 different cities for hunting for everything, and yeah, it was crazy. And my scene in the read through, I figure out who the characters are, and I'm like, oh, I have to say this to Gary Oldman, like one of my guys, and at the read through. Michael Keaton was there with Sony down at Pinestone Studios in Toronto, and where they do. It was a British company, so they did in England. They did all the Monty Python stuff and James Bond, but in Toronto they have like 4 different floors, 5,000 square foot per floor, and it's one movie on each floor getting done. Anyway, so I go into the read through, and Mr. Keaton is 2 heads this way. And Mr. Oldman is far end of the table, and he doesn't raise his voice, like he talks super low right there like that, and so everybody just kind of goes draws them in, and I'm just reading vital statistics about the Robo Man, who's might be alive, might be dead, blood sugar, heart rate, blood pressure, and that I think he looks good, like that kind of a thing. And he looks up at me and he's just like, quite good. Thank you. Yes. And like just kind of like boom, like right into my soul. But after we're on the lot, and he's on a trailer, top step, got his phone in one hand and smoking a cigarette like a border guard in the other hand, talking with his Oxford English accent. And Joel Kinnaman comes up. He's the robo guy. And they start jibing back and forth, Richard Pryor style, like comics do, like we do. And I'm just kind of, oh, I can jump in here, I think. I'm just watching them go back and forth. You ain't no doctor. You ain't shit. You ain't nothing. And then for whatever reason, Mr. Oldman looks right at me at one point, and I'm just kind of I go in there. I'm like, it's not White Boy Day, is it? Like just right from his line in True Romance when Christian Slater's getting all kinds of getting away. Is it White Boy Day? Like just like freaking out. So yeah, I was
Like
able
it's
to.
Drexel. Yeah, the Drexel character.
Yeah, yeah, totally right. So I mean, that was pretty special stuff for sure.
That was one of my favorite characters. I didn't know it was him. That one and the Silence of the Lambs character, where he had, all the makeup and everything. I didn't know that was Gary Oldman.
Mm,
It took me a lot, to be like, oh my God,
yeah.
that's Gary Oldman. Holy moly. Oh my God. So when you're reading the vitals, do you have a semi erection at the time or?
Ooh, well, it's more like I'm, at a swim meet and they're just, up around here somewhere. Just it's like, whoa, where am I? Like just totally peeled. And I tried to I was in the parking lot, just kind of breathing a little bit. And then when I got there, I was just like, yeah, these are the only I had the script, but it's good to know the whole thing so that you know what to maybe do in between your lines. There's lines coming up. What's your guy doing before these lines happen? Anyway, I whittled it down. I just got everything out of my head except for these four lines. It's just to remain, in the moment. And did our lines, and there was everything was different. I'd done a ton of commercials, and catering was always excellent, but this was just like another planet because I went up to the counter and the guy was like, I was like, what have you got today for breakfast or whatever? And he's just like, oh, dude, yeah, we'll do anything, man. What do you need? What do you need? He's getting steak and eggs. This guy's doing that. You tell me. Like he was just like, oh, you're new. You're adorable. Okay. It's just, but that's just how they do it. That just whatever it is.
Yeah, I
But
guess
yeah,
because
no, it
everybody
was,
has special diets, like they need an egg
yeah.
white omelet, gluten free, with a side of pineapple kind of thing. My God.
Oh yeah.
I have to confess, I had a serious sex dream about Michael Keaton in Bed Bath and Beyond.
Oh yeah.
He was folding towels. We made out. It was good. What was it like talking to Michael Keaton?
Pretty crazy. I didn't say a whole lot. I was I was early. I was in the boardroom and just sat there, and people just kept coming in, and the catering and all that kind of stuff. Keaton came in far side, hat low, white t-shirt, white hat, hugged Mr. Oldman right away, and some producers, and just very like, very with it. And I'm looking over at him like that, and he's just kind of going, like he's just an ordinary dude. And I afterwards I was thought I was able to, thank Mr. Oldman, and Mr. Keaton was right there, and I was just like, hey, this is pretty awesome, right? And he's just like, oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm like, that I'm anywhere near you guys, this is fantastic. Thanks for all of it. For all that stuff, because he's a stand-up comic too, and I didn't want to fanboy out on him, but I had to let something out. So that was it. You got to pick the spot. And there's a comic too. I'm like, there's my spot right there. Oh, okay, that's good. Like without going over or whatever. But yeah, I just, unbelievable, out of my mind.
The
But
Batman.
regular,
The Batman. You
yeah,
got to meet Michael Keaton. My gosh.
yeah,
I would probably have to like rub my nipples if I ever met him. It would just be like
oh
unbelievable.
yeah, 100%. No, and for such a long time too. Like Gary Oldman, like Sid and Nancy back in the day, and he just disappears in his role. True Romance, like yourself, I saw that picture, got credits are rolling. Like, where the hell's Gary, man? Where's what? And then you come back and you're like, he's a genius. Like, How does he do it? And
Yeah.
so,
But the professional, where he's just like a crazy guy, and then he's the sweet um uh guy in Batman,
yeah,
just all of
Commissioner
his
Gordon.
roles. He's and then you hear stories of what he's on Harry Potter, and he's sitting with the kid, and he's like, how much work have you done? And he's like, oh, like one project before this. And he's like, well, I've had 700 projects and I still give it my all. I still, all my gusto, all my effort,
Oh
because
yeah,
you gotta care.
yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. And all the people that you meet, particularly in the production, like hair, makeup, wardrobe, those old ladies in wardrobe love Gary Oldman. They all day long. Oh, he's the sweetest, and it almost like she did compare him to John Candy, like that kind of up
Oh,
there, up there, up there, kind of a style. So just like real dude. He gets it, right? He gets it. So,
yeah.
but yeah.
Well, Paul, I had a whole bunch of questions to ask you, but got distracted by Robocop. I'm literally gonna throw it on the Netflix now and watch it. I can't wait to try and find you as the man in the white coat to describe Robocop's vitals, and go like, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah.
But one question I'd love to ask you is Just for Laughs Festival cancellation. How are you doing on that?
Oh man. Uh Try to let it bother you, really. It's just kind of such a huge nebulous thing to be caught up in. I find it interesting. It's just like this many comics get those festivals, right? And then this many complain about Just for Laughs. So it's just, I don't know. I just try to, you know, keep moving forward, you know, until I find out more. I guess I don't really know. I talked to Darren Frost a lot about that kind of stuff. He's on top of it, and he's my guy. Like I'm just, could you send in Mr. Frost, please, for the education of what's going on? Thank you. Like just like, but yeah, it's certainly what he had to say though was certainly damning, right? He did all those nasty shows for them 15, and you add up who's at the shows, the gates, and it comes to, $500,000, and he saw, 1,500. So, and he's on that show with monsters, like monsters, Otto and George, and Planet Eaters, David Tell, all these guys. And so, and then you have, the government funding, and that's just kind of like, hmm, interesting. So
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Yeah, paying the big American companies, the big bucks, and then, the locals getting, just a crumb. Absolutely. Well, I hope that it doesn't
Yep.
affect Montreal's tourism too much, and I hope that it doesn't affect all of our friends' careers too much. But
Yeah, no, there'll be something else that'll pop up.
yeah,
These things have a way of, you know, moving on.
yeah. But it was
Well,
good
this
to
too
see you
shall
in London a
pass.
couple weeks ago, and
Yeah,
I'm
no,
looking
that was
forward to
fun.
the next time you come through.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Soon.
Yeah.
That was so fun. What a room, honestly. What a room. And to be able to do other things with it too. I don't know what the plans are, but there was a backstage area where they had there's some storing some stuff, and I'm just looking around. I'm like, is this not a podcast studio in here? Like, is this not a for local comics or something? I don't know. Because the
Absolutely.
acoustics are so great, right? So anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, fabulous room. I could see like a track, when you're filming, and you put the camera on a track and you catch the audience from the side. There's so much room for that kind of stuff too. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Absolutely,
Anyway.
there's so much potential. Newsload definitely wants to set up a studio in the Yuck Yucks hotel space.
Amazing.
There's 2 or 3 separate areas that we could definitely set up, but we're figuring it out. We're sorting it out. But yeah, Paul, I can't thank you enough for your time. Thank you so much. Is there
Thank
any?
you. Appreciate it.
How do we follow you?
I'm on. I'm on Instagram, Paul Haywood. It's a weird number on it, but 1 second. It's but I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, same name. It's the Instagram is, as it's coming up, it's Paul Haywood 6715.
6715.
Weird, just like this song 6715. No.
Perfect. Well, I'll be sure to follow you on Instagram. And one last thing, if you can say it loud, say it proud. I love Newsload.
I love Newsload.
This is the Newsload.